The sun was sinking fast, its last light barely reaching the forest floor. Darkness crept in under the thick canopy, swallowing the path behind me. I was lost, miles from any road, my phone useless in my pocket. A wrong turn had led me here, and the cold was setting in. Every sound, twigs snapping, leaves rustling, felt like something watching, something big. I needed shelter before night fully claimed the woods. The forest was silent now, the birds gone, replaced by distant guttural grunts. Through a tangle of thorns I spotted a small decaying hut. It looked abandoned, half swallowed by moss and time, but it was my only option. I pushed through the undergrowth, mud sucking at my boots, jacket snagging on thorns. The hut leaned dangerously, its walls rotted and damp. Still, 4 walls and a roof were better than the open forest. As I approached, unease prickled my skin. This place felt ancient, haunted. The door hung by a single hinge. I pushed it open, the creak echoing in the gloom. Cold, stale air rushed out, thick with the scent of rot and earth. Night had fallen. The forest outside was a black wall. With no other choice, I stepped inside, leaving the wild for the unknown darkness of the hut. The threshold felt like a point of no return. I braced myself for whatever the night would bring. The real ordeal was just beginning. Inside, darkness pressed in from every corner. My headlamp revealed a scene of decay. Broken furniture, rotting floorboards, and rusted tools on the walls. The air was thick, heavy, and hard to breathe. Every step was a risk. The floor felt ready to give way. I cleared a small space in the center, away from the worst rot. The shadows seemed to move, the feeling of being watched stronger than ever. This hut was barely a shield, but it was all I had. I forced myself to focus on survival, not fear. The night outside pressed closer. My first task, secure the door. I pried up heavy floorboards and wedged them against the door, creating a makeshift barricade. It wasn't much, but it was something. Next, I unpacked my survival kit: knife, fire starter, cord, emergency blanket. I scraped dry fibers from bark and rotten wood for tinder. The fireplace was choked with debris, but I had to risk a small fire. The forest outside grew louder, the sense of threat rising. I worked quickly, every sound outside a reminder of what was at stake. Fire would mean warmth, light, and maybe a little hope. The real test was about to begin. Hours passed. The forest was alive with unsettling sounds. Then came the grunts, wild boars, close and many. Their heavy bodies crashed through the brush, circling the hut. I froze, listening as they snorted and scratched at the walls. The thin wood felt like paper between us. My barricade groaned under their weight. Fear gripped me, but panic would be fatal. I gripped my knife, heart pounding, and focused on the fire. The boars pressed closer, testing the walls, searching for a way in. I had to get the fire going. Now! The hut shook with their assault. I was trapped, but not helpless. Fire was my only hope. My hands shook as I struck the ferro rod, sparks flying onto damp tinder. Nothing caught. The boars battered the door, the cold seeped in. I found a scrap of dry lint, shaved fine wood, and tried again. A tiny ember glowed. Fragile. Precious. I coaxed it to life, breath held until a small flame flickered up. Warmth and light pushed back the darkness. The boars hesitated, unsettled by the fire's glow and smoke. I fed the flame, building it slowly, refusing to let it die. The fire was my shield, my weapon, my hope. Fear still gnawed at me, but determination burned brighter. I would keep the fire alive all night. I would not give in to the dark. Survival was now a battle of will. The night dragged on, every minute a test of endurance. I fed the fire, knife in hand, never sleeping. The boars circled, but the fire kept them at bay. At last, dawn's gray light crept through the window. Relief washed over me as the boars retreated into the woods. I waited for full daylight, then unbarricaded the door and stepped outside. The ground was torn by hooves, a reminder of how close danger had come. I left the hut behind, changed by the ordeal. The wild is beautiful, but unforgiving. That night taught me to respect nature, trust my instincts, and never underestimate the thin line between life and death.